The emerging tourist destination in the northeast of India is a series of plateaus some 5,000 feet above sea level, home to spectacular canyons and valleys. A drive through its mountain ridges is a fascinating experience. This is the Khasi Hills in Meghalaya, the abode of clouds. Today we visit the cleanest village in the Indian subcontinent, located some 80 kilometers from the state capital Shillong. On the way, we pass by Peninsula, a traditional market where villagers from the Rewar region sell and trade their products and wares. It is the orange season and we stop by to sample the freshly plucked Khasi mandarin oranges which were displayed in the conical cane baskets. Besides oranges, there were other fruits like bananas and pineapples being sold. After bargaining and tasting the fruit, we bought the sweet oranges at a reasonable price. We crossed Peninsula, the market hub, and after some time reached Hongkong Village, where we take a right turn to the popular tourist destination and cleanest village, Mawlynnong, which is another 18 kilometers from the junction. The drive to Mawlynnong is a pleasant one, passing through a lush green terrain which goes on and on till we reach our destination. It was a sunny day with blue skies. We crossed the bridge over the Rimbend River, one of the longest rivers in this region. What is different about this river from others is that it flows over a riverbed of rock slabs in its entire course, the water carving and shaping the riverbed all along the way. We passed by broom grass fields on both sides of the road. After some time, we stopped on the way to continue a journey on foot across an ancient trail. It's a beautiful trek, passing through a landscape crisscrossed by clear streams, broom grass and age-old forests. The trail of stone-laid paths have survived through hundreds of years. So we've come to this ancient trail which will take us to the village, the remains of a village called Kindyar, which from where the people migrated and settled in village of Mawlynnong, Nohwet and Rewai. And all along this ancient route, you can see we have these resting places where people come and after a long walk come and sit down and rest their tired feet here. And from here we will proceed further to show you the ancient remains of the village Kindyar. The ancient village of Kindyar was strategically placed between the highlands and the traditional markets in the border with Bangladesh, which were the major trading outposts. Farmers and traders walked these trails all the way from the highlands to the border markets long ago and resting in between at Kindyar, which was a flourishing center. As I stepped on the moss-covered cobblestone spot amidst the greenery, I was lost for some time in a nice way in this patch of serenity. This was a unique forest bath that was mind-cleansing and truly refreshing. My forefathers once walked these forests, hills and valleys, and I felt privileged to get this opportunity to walk in their footsteps once again on this trail. To rediscover your past in this day and age is something special. It's an experience of a lifetime. We cannot replicate their way of life, but this brief journey on foot, in a sense, takes us through a period of civilization when our ancestors valued the natural surroundings and preserved their environment, when the only means of getting from one place to another was to walk on foot. So after the trek of about 30 minutes, what you can see here, we've just cleared a portion of this remains of this foundation stone of once upon a time there was a house out here, and this was a vibrant civilization here in Kindyar. And according to the stories here in this place, there was a plague and a lot of people died in this village Kindyar. So the remaining few that were there migrated to the villages which are now called Mawlynnong, Riwai and Nohwet. And what you can see here are the remnants of an ancient civilization, and this was a vibrant civilization. The ancient Kindyar trail is still unknown to many, and for those who love exploring and trekking, it is something that one must do if you ever visit Mawlynnong. But the services of a guide is essential to take you there. The trail has its ups and downs, but it is not all that difficult, and anyone who is reasonably fit can do the trek. From Kindyar, we descend to one of the most beautiful landscapes, a rare jewel hidden in the jungle. Pungshwa is a natural beauty, a waterfall and a deep turquoise green pool, isolated and covered by a thick jungle canopy that allows little light to penetrate its deep clear waters. The surface of the water appears calm and bluish black as the blue skylight penetrates the dense foliage above the river pool. I'm sitting on a ledge of Pungshwa Falls, and this is truly an amazing place. The shining drops of water reflecting the sunlight fall down a vertical garden of ferns and greens that make up the wall of the waterfall in one side of Pungshwa pool. The water in the pool tempted us for a swim, and we climbed down to take a dip and refresh ourselves. So I'm just going to go inside the water here in the Pungshwa Falls and just get a taste of the water, the environment, and this is so beautiful. It's truly amazing. The water is so beautiful. It's really beautiful. The swim in Pungshwa was a memorable one. It had been a long walk to Kindyar and down here, and the dip in these waters was a refreshing one. From Pungshwa we move on to Mawlynnong, passing through Riwai village, the gateway to the cleanest village, as well as the popular root bridge across the river Wat Thalong. On the way we visit the Mawlynnong Sharatia, the balancing rock, a popular tourist spot. It's a massive flat rock that appears to float. According to legend, it was believed that it was an ancient shrine of the tribe. Just about another kilometer before we reach Mawlynnong, and on the way we have this Mawlynnong, and this is apparently a huge rock which balances itself on a smaller rock, and this is also another tourist attraction here in Mawlynnong. From the balancing rock, it takes just a few minutes to reach Mawlynnong. A signboard on the way welcomes us. The road passes through well-kept gardens and manicured lawns along the way. The first thing that we notice invariably were the clean roads and surroundings and the numerous homestays. Mawlynnong is a major tourist destination in Meghalaya and the northeast of India. It receives hundreds of tourists almost every day, attracted by the gardens in every courtyard and the cleanliness of the village. The locals are found constantly weeding and cleaning the neighborhood throughout the year. The culture of cleanliness is the USP of Hongkong Village. A major section of the population in Mawlynnong are Christians. The Church of North India, previously known as All Saints Church, dominates the skyline in Mawlynnong, along with the tree houses and the skywalk made from bamboo and cane. The central station area of the village has become a market hub where tourists can buy a number of souvenirs. The once predominantly horticultural economy has been transformed into a thriving tourism center, providing employment not only to locals but to many other people from the neighboring villages. So we are now in Mawlynnong, the cleanest village in India. And if you look all around me, this is a classic example of a success story in tourism. And this is what tourism does. It has really boosted up the economy. As I walk on the garden paths in between the houses, I remembered my first visit to Mawlynnong many years ago, when this was but another ordinary village in the Khasi hills. Even during those days, it was clean, but it was only after the cleanest village tag or label came just a few years ago that this hamlet was transformed into a world-famous destination. Mawlynnong today takes a pride of place among the villages of the Indian subcontinent.
Place is very good. We enjoyed this, all climate and everything we enjoyed. People are also very good.
We are from Delhi and we have seen the road bridge and the viewpoint, and it was fantastic.
The place is superb. I have never visited a place like this, although I am from a mountain region only. But this place is very beautiful and it is different, completely different.
A visit to Mawlynnong is incomplete if you don't see the route bridge some 2 kilometers away. We get down at Rewai to trek down to the route bridge. From the cleanest village, Mawlynnong, to another clean village, Riwai. Join me as I take you in this journey to a classic example of man's ingenuity and how he fashions nature to meet his day-to-day needs. The culture of cleanliness has spread to Riwai as we found the footpaths and neighborhood clean and neat. There were quite a number of tourists today visiting Mawlynnong and the route bridge. The bridge is just one of the many route bridges found in the Riwar area of the Khasi hills. Besides their uniqueness, the tree bridges serve as important passages across the rivers for the people to get across to the fields and to other villages. The route bridges are essential to the livelihood of the people here. It is just recently that these products of man's ingenuity have taken on a new and different character and dimension. I'm standing here in the route bridge, and this is one of the tribal ingenuity that you see here. What they've done is they've woven the roots of the Ficus elastica, the rubber tree, and made it into this bridge. This bridge has been in existence for 200 odd years. From the route bridge, we climb up the steps leading to the village of Nohwet, where artifacts of the tribe are found and still preserved to this day. If you want to see a traditional Khasi house, Nohwet is the village to come to. They don't make these houses anymore, and we were fortunate to have been allowed a visit inside the house. I'm standing here in Nohwet village, and Nohwet village is an example of a living museum of the Khasis. And behind me you can see this traditional house. It's still standing, and this is one of the oldest houses in Nohwet. This is one of the last surviving traditional houses of the Khasis. In Nohwet, we see that this is surviving through the ages, and you look at the planks, there's huge planks. These planks were fashioned, no machine was used, but they used the dowel to cut across the tree and bring out the planks. And if you look at the wood, it's so beautiful. The texture is incredible. And if you look at this older piece of wood, you can see that it's got a lot of character in it. The texture is, you won't find this. This is a natural process of decaying, but at the same time, this still stands and it bears testimony to the kind of workmanship that the forefathers had in this village. Indoors, we spend some time studying the unique and organic surroundings. A good number of 3-foot wide wooden planks make the floor of the house, while the fireplace occupies the center place. You don't find these kind of planks anymore, and this is a 3-foot plank with the length of about 14 to 15 feet, and the thickness is about 4 inches. And you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 such planks here, and this has lasted over a long period of time. And they have Again, this has been cut with the dowel, and you see the smooth surface. The smooth surface has been polished, not the modern way, but the traditional way, where they use a leaf. There's a leaf which they polish it year after year after year, and you get this finishing after probably 10, 15, 20 years. But this is more than 100-year-old house. Bamboo racks suspended over the fireplace are a permanent feature of the Khasi kitchen. On one corner is another rack that the tools are stacked into after a day's work. There are shelves on the wall where brass pots are arranged and dowels are kept. Cane baskets used for storing dried fish and other food items line up on another corner of the room. It was indeed a privilege to be able to enter this room. Rather, it was like a museum that gave us some insight on how our forefathers lived in the past. This is also a place where the family gathers after a hard day's work in the field, and they come back after a wash. They come back here and sit down here and carry on conversations, and after having their food, it's a place where everybody meets, and we don't have the concept of sitting room, but this is a place where everybody sits and communicates and interacts with each other. Nohwet village has some 300 odd houses and is one of the biggest villages in the region. We walk across the narrow footpaths, crisscrossing the village from one end to the other. Our last stop of the day was a viewpoint overlooking the plains of Bangladesh to the south and the canyon in the west. We stepped into the bamboo walkway leading to the platform constructed on a tree. It was a befitting structure to end a visit to Mawlynnong, symbolic of the native ingenuity and creativity as well as organic way of life found in this part of the Khasi hills. The view was awesome. In the horizon were the plains of Bangladesh, and below us the shadows of the setting sun, returning home to the canyon. We've come to the end of the journey, and we are right here in the Nohwet viewpoint, which is built on top of a tree, and behind me you can see this fabulous sunset in the plains of Bangladesh. Enjoy the view until we meet again in another village.